Hey everybody, this is Mark and welcome to the Gun Guy channel. Today we are talking about my brand new 10mm pistol. This is the Smith & Wesson Performance Center M&P 10mm M2.0. Good God, that's a long name for a gun, but we're going to talk about it right now. So today we're going to take a quick look at the history of the 10mm round, including how the TV show Miami Vice made the original round and the gun that shot it so popular it destroyed the manufacturer of the original gun. We're going to unbox the gun. We'll show you how to do a breakdown, take it to the range, show you the recoil, the muzzle flip, and just give you some feedback on how the gun shoots. So if you're enjoying our videos, I'd ask that you like them and subscribe so that you get updates as to when we release new material. The 10mm round was really spearheaded by Lieutenant Colonel John Dean Jeff Cooper. Now Cooper was a United States Marine, Semper Fi, and is credited with being the creator of the modern technique of handgun shooting. What Cooper was trying to invent or create was a powerful, versatile round that would be suitable for both law enforcement and civilians. He wanted the velocity of the 9mm, but coupled with the bullet weight of the .45 ACP to create a magnum-level ballistics in a semi-automatic pistol. So working with a team of firearm experts, they came up with the 10mm round in 1983. They did this by cutting down a .30 Remington case and loading it with a .40 caliber bullet. Now at the same time, Dorno and Dixon Enterprises were working in cooperation with Cooper to build a handgun that would actually shoot the cartridge and handle the power of the cartridge. This gun was the Bren 10 pistol. Now the original 10mm auto pistol shot a 200 grain projectile at 1200 feet per second with 640 foot-pounds of energy, which was a significant step up between the 9mm and the .45 ACP. At the same time, Miami Vice was becoming a national sensation, and Sonny Crockett, who was played by Don Johnson, happened to carry the Bren 10. So as such, the demand for white linen coats and the Bren 10 and the 10mm skyrocketed. For this reason, demand for the pistol and the cartridge exploded in the mid-1980s. Unfortunately, the Bren 10 was rushed into production, and the pistol's reputation suffered due to early issues with reliability and a shortage of magazines for the gun. The company was just never quite able to rebound from those shortcomings and eventually had to file for bankruptcy in 1986. But just as everyone was about to write the 10mm off, enter April 11th, 1986. 8 actual Miami FBI agents approach 2 wanted bank robbers, and there is a gunfight that ensues that pretty much rocks the news and the press and the nation. Special agents Dove and Grogan were both killed in this firefight, as well as the 2 bank robbers. At this time, the standard sidearm for the FBI was a 9mm. So the autopsies of the 2 criminals revealed that the then issued FBI service round, which was a 9mm, lacked sufficient penetration to readily incapacitate the criminals. In fact, the autopsy discovered that had one round penetrated Platt's body just an extra inch, it's likely that both of the FBI agents would have survived the encounter. So this real-world event became a driving force behind the 10mm auto and validated Cooper's idea that a magnum-level ballistics in a semi-automatic had serious applications and benefits in the law enforcement world. The pistol that the FBI gave to all of its new agents was the Smith & Wesson Model 1076. Many of the office staff at the FBI, which included accountants and attorneys, not just the field officers, were issued this same pistol. And they simply could not shoot the round well because of the recoil and the muzzle flip. So the FBI neutered the round and they loaded it down. This became known as the 10mm FBI round, and this actually turned into the .40 Smith & Wesson round, which is still a very popular round with law enforcement, but not so much with others. The reason being, the bullet doesn't have the weight of the .45 ACP, it doesn't have the capacity of the 9mm, and it certainly doesn't have the ballistic capability of the 10mm. What is the use of the 10mm then? Well, it still has a lot of valid purposes. Law enforcement, self-defense, and hunting. Or in my particular case, I want the gun for when I go hiking in bear country, because I'm a little concerned that the .357, which is a great round for stopping human beings, may not do so well against a grizzly bear. All right, so let us unbox this fine firearm. I will say it did not start out great because the box came broken, but we're not going to blame Smith & Wesson for that. I think that was just the store that I got this at. So again, we have the ATF Youth Handgun Safety Notice Act, which basically says don't do stupid things with the gun, don't sell it to minors, and don't buy the gun for people that shouldn't be having a gun. Comes wrapped in this. This is kind of neat. This covers the barrel. We've got 4 grips that come with this gun. And it is an incredibly aggressive texture on these guns. But we'll swap these out in a little bit just to show you how we can, although I really like the one that's on here. But you get 3 plus the one that's on the gun. You get your lock. The other thing that is really nice about this is you get optic plates for all the different type of optics I believe that you could put on this gun. So it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4 optic plates that come for free with this gun. Then you also get the Smith & Wesson instruction manual, the California firearms warning, so apparently it's okay not to be careful in the other 49 states, and a way to register your gun with Smith & Wesson. You get the chamber indicator and 2 15-round magazines, and a relatively nice case if it wasn't broken. So we'll get this out of the way. Now this gun has been cleared and checked before we started shooting, and there's absolutely no 10mm ammunition anywhere around here, simply because we can't afford it at the prices of 10mm ammunition. But let's check anyhow. Magazine's out, and yep, that gun is cleared. So we'll put this back in for now and start with a quick overview of this gun. So this gun has a capacity of 15 plus 1, and it came with 2 magazines. The barrel length is 5.6 inches, as opposed to the regular M2.0, which I believe is 4.6 inches. This gun also, and it's one of the reasons that I like it, because I've never had a gun that has this, has a ported barrel. So you'll see that the barrel itself is ported, as well as the slide. The purpose of this is to tame the muzzle flip on the gun and also to reduce the felt recoil. The sights on this gun are tritium night sights, and honestly, they look pretty nice. They're, if you can tell, they're also at optic height. Or suppressor height if you wanted to put a suppressor on this gun where it was legal, although this is not a threaded barrel, so I don't really know how you would go about doing that. The barrel on the gun has a 1 in 10 rifling, and it is a striker fire gun. The overall length on this gun is 8.6 inches. The overall height on this gun is 5.6, and the width is a pretty narrow 1.3 inches. The gun has a single magazine release on this side that works really nicely, but you can also switch it if you'd like so it will work for a lefty. There is an ambidextrous thumb safety that honestly feels really good. It's solid, it clicks into place. It goes off very easily, but I don't think you would be inclined to accidentally put it on. There is a slide release also on both sides of the gun. So this gun is relatively ambidextrous friendly. The trigger on this gun is the Performance Center trigger. Now, the trigger on the gun that I shot was really, really nice, but this is just beyond nice. It does have a trigger safety on it, but if you look, that's where the wall is. There is barely any creep at all. That's maybe 1 millimeter. We'll try that again just so you can see. Honestly, for a striker fire, that's got to be one of the crispest triggers that I've ever tried. Now, granted, I'm not a competitive shooter. Well, let me rephrase. I am a competitive shooter, but I'm a bad competitive shooter. So the guns that I have usually don't have this quality of a trigger. So I'm really happy about that. There is also a trigger stop on the back. So the reset on this is really short and it's audible. So I'm going to be quiet and hopefully you will hear this. And then you'll see, again, super short trigger, and one more time, the reset is right there. So what we'll also do, since we're talking about the trigger right now, let's see what the trigger pull is on this. .1 pounds. That's great. .64 ounces. Last try, and 3.7. And let's do the average. That's impossible, so the machine's wrong because there's no way a 3, and a 3 comes to a 2.28. So I'll let you do the math and figure it out. Leave that in the comments, okay? Anyhow, the trigger pull on this gun, pretty amazing. The slide on this is ported stainless steel with an Armornite finish, as well as the barrel. You'll also notice that there's a standard Picatinny rail on this gun. Honestly, I just really, really like the way this gun looks. And it just feels so natural in the hand. I think part of the reason I like this, and again, I like shooting 1911s, is the angle of this grip is very akin to that. Now, I am going to say that this has some incredibly aggressive texturing. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not even shooting it, and my hand's getting a little bit of red from it. I understand the necessity with the 10mm, because you definitely don't want to lose grip on this gun when you're shooting it, but I don't know if you put a couple of 100 rounds through this in a day, you're going to have some red palms by the end of the day, but at least you won't go blind. Ow! Let's go over the grip now. So as I said, it comes with these 3 grips that you can replace. This is the medium large, the large, and the small. So right now the medium is on here, and honestly I just like this. I'm going to leave it. But if you wanted to swap these out, what you would do is right here where you can put a lanyard on it if you so chose, you turn it and you can work this out. So that's what's holding that grip into place. There's a hinge, you can see it right here, right? That's going in there. So I believe the easiest way to take this out, there you go, is just to pull it like that, and this is what you're left with. So if you want to put it back, and this is indeed the medium, simply go in you get a click, you put this in on a side angle, and it clicks into place. So you have the options of doing all of those. Let's take a quick look at how to break this gun down. Again, I haven't shot this gun, so I'm guessing that it's pretty clean, but we'll take a look at breaking it down. So while we're at it, the serrations. The front serrations on this gun are probably the only negative that I see right out of the gate, and that's they are so tiny. You could try and rack it with those, but like I just can't get a grip. It's easier for me to rack right here where the taper is. Oops, maybe it's not. You could push, right? But right here, definitely can't do it, particularly because there's a notch. That's the takedown notch. Now in the back of this, super easy, right? But that is a negative. If you want to use the front serrations, I think you're going to have some problems, and that way your left hand will hurt as much as your right hand when you're done shooting this. So we're going to lock the slide. We're going to show how to break the gun down now. You just take it and you lock the slide back. Now this particular gun is a gun that you're going to have to pull the trigger. You take the takedown lever and you move it down into a 6 o'clock position. You release the slide, you pull the trigger, and now it comes apart. And what you see is the insides of a pretty darn clean gun. You can take out the guide rod and spring, and the bolt here allows you to, I believe you can remove this, not quite sure how. Again, for those of you who have watched these videos, you will know that my gunsmithing skills are pretty horrible. But you can change the spring out if you'd like. I'm sure Smith & Wesson doesn't recommend that, and I'm also pretty sure that that will void the warranty. The barrel on this gun has to move forward because it's so long to come out. And again, just want to give you a quick look at that. So this is where the porting is, and again, I would anticipate that this will cut down the muzzle flip and the felt recoil significantly. And then right on the top, here you'll see where it is noted it's a 10mm auto, which seems self-evident, right? Except I believe in certain 10mm you can actually shoot the 40 Smith & Wessons. I don't think that that's recommended, but I'm honestly not sure because I'm relatively inexperienced with 10mm. So if you have shot 10mm and you've shot 40 Smith & Wesson through that, please let me know. I'm not sure if that's safe or not, whether or not you're doing it, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and get information on that. So the top slide is very, very, very heavy. To put it back together, the barrel's going to go in. It does have to go forward more than you would probably anticipate just because of the length. It slips in. What I'm going to call the nut goes towards the front end, so you put that in. You just seat it square away. The rails will just match up and go straight back. We're going to lock the slide back, put that back into its original position, and we should be good. Let's take a look at how this gun does on the range now. Oh, except that, look at that. One ticket flyer. tears that paper off. So when we were test shooting the Smith & Wesson at the range, you'll see that it was doing great when we were shooting 5 rounds. However, when we finished filming the 5 rounds, what we did was load up the magazine, and it holds 15. It failed to feed. So that was a problem. Took one out, still failed to feed. Took another and another and another. And what I was having problems with is the bullets would simply not feed the gun properly if we went past 5 or 6 bullets in the magazine. So I spoke with someone at Smith & Wesson, and they said that this might be a problem with the magazines and that they needed to be broken in. Or it could also be the type of ammunition that we were using. So what Smith suggested was that I load up the magazines, I let them sit for a while, and then go back and fire it. So what we're going to do as a follow-up is let those magazines sit for a few more days. I ordered a bunch of different types of 10mm rounds, and we'll see if those work better with this particular gun, because it really was great to shoot. However, if it fails to feed, that's a significant problem, particularly because I'm using this gun for self-defense, potentially against a very large wild animal. And that could be catastrophic. So if in the event it doesn't resolve the problem, I'm going to send it back to Smith, let them take a look at it, see if they can help me out. And if it continues to have that problem, then this gun will unfortunately either sit in the safe until it rusts, or I'll sell it to someone who likes them more than I will if it's not working.